Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today I want to answer a question I've been asked a lot over the past few months. Is Battlefield 2042 worth buying? How much is it worth buying for? And perhaps more importantly, should it be free to play? Before we get started though, it'd be awesome if you guys could subscribe if you do enjoy the content. That way you won't miss out on any future Battlefield videos. We are coming up fast on 40k, so big thank you to anyone who subs or becomes a member. I really appreciate it. So Battlefield 2042 has come a long way. This time last year we had no season content, no map reworks, not even a new scoreboard, and now we have all of those things plus the brand new class system. Last year DICE experimented with free-to-play sessions for all the various platforms and player numbers skyrocketed. Here you can see the pre-Season 3 numbers on Steam peaking at around 4,000 or 5,000 players, then we see a pretty substantial jump up to 17,000 because of the Season 3 release, but then an even bigger peak during the free-to-play period on Steam, where peaks reach 36,000 players. In addition to that, the game is regularly available on Steam with 66% discount for $20. I'm not sure about console and the EA app, but I can only assume we're seeing similar discounts there as well. And after all of this, the success of Season 3, the free-to-play sessions and the hefty discounts, player numbers have increased quite a bit. We are now getting towards the end of Season 3, typically the time where people have had their fill and moved over to other games until the next season arrives, and player counts are now sitting at around 10,000. So basically double that which we saw at the end of Season 2. Furthermore, I have seen multiple people expressing here on my channel or on the subreddit that after having tried the game for free and picking it up on sale, they are pleasantly surprised by how much the game has improved. Indeed, if the Steam reviews are anything to go by, they have massively improved since release. Overall reviews are only 34% positive, whilst recent reviews within the last 30 days only are 59% positive, so almost a doubling in positive reviews there. From my own personal perspective, as somebody who has been playing the game week in, week out since it released and has covered all the changes made to the game, big and small, I can confidently say that the game has seen massive improvement and that I have enough fun with the game that to me it would be worth $20 at this point. I think that's a fair price, so if that's what you're here for, then there you go. I recommend it if you can get it for 20 or less. Now that's all well and good, but it does have to be said that Battlefield 2042 was so fundamentally broken and badly designed from the ground up in so many aspects that in my eyes, it will never be one of the better Battlefield games. There are still many areas of the game that need work. I made a video the other day on some of those aspects, in fact, like the squad management system, or lack thereof, the missing platoon system, the absolutely terrible vehicle gameplay, or the fact there's no server browser. We haven't heard any plans from DICE to really overhaul any of these areas, and in some cases, like with the server browser, they've specifically expressed that they have no plans whatsoever to address this issue. On top of that, there is still a lot of bad blood between the Battlefield fanbase and DICE and EA, and understandably so. You know, what they did, releasing the game in the state it was in and marketing it the way they did, it's absolutely unforgivable. However, I do commend the developers who are working their butts off to pick up the pieces that were almost certainly dropped by others outside of their own control. But it is understandable to me that there will always be those players who are just done grieving the game or possibly even the franchise and have simply moved on. However, a bigger question has been popping up recently after seeing the player numbers that offering the game for free pulled in, and that is whether Battlefield 2042 and possibly Battlefield in general should go free to play. It's no secret that the free to play model is capable of bringing in huge player numbers and raking in large amounts of cash via in-game purchases. If you look at Battlefield's largest competitor, Call of Duty, that was initially supposed to be a tacked-on free-to-play offering that would entice people to buy the full game. That has pretty much become the main offering itself. Now, whilst the free-to-play model has its obvious benefits, it's not without its pitfalls either. When you offer a game at a $70 price tag, you have to have something to show for it, and it's the general understanding that if you pay $70, you're entitled to get your money's worth out of whatever game you bought. There are certain expectations that come with that price tag, and personally, I don't have any problem paying that price for a quality game that will give me hundreds, if not thousands of hours of fun and enjoyment as previous games in the Battlefield franchise have. Obviously, for Battlefield 2042, the game was falsely marketed as a finished, polished game that it most definitely was not. This went disastrously wrong and led to mass refunding of the game. However, I do think that Battlefield is generally a game that can stand on its own 2 feet and sell a lot of copies if it's a good game. Player numbers would have been solid and reviews much better, leading to more sales had the game been up to par. Now, the free-to-play model, on the other hand, does worry me, because that's when the content stops being the product. Now the product are cosmetics, emotes, takedown animations, and other things that can be bought via microtransactions in the in-game store. Gamers are more likely to accept a product that's just okay because they're playing it for free, so they can't really complain if they don't enjoy it. In my opinion, the free-to-play model is leading to more and more mediocre games filled with increasingly over-designed cosmetics that all feel very samey and are a dime a dozen. I can't tell you how many free-to-play shooters I've played in the past year, played for 1 hour, and then uninstalled. A lot of them just feel like cheaply made imitations of games I've played before that want their shot at being the next Fortnite, pulling in millions of players and making a ton of money. And knowing how EA operate, I think that could indeed be a very slippery slope for Battlefield. However, I do think offering a free-to-play mode within a paid game could be the way to go, just like Call of Duty are doing. Portal is the obvious candidate for this. Why not make Portal free to play? Players who already own the game could be allowed to create persistent servers there, and it could give way to a big influx of players to fill those servers, which mostly stand empty at the moment anyway. Now, clearly the biggest hurdle is that every map, weapon and vehicle in the game is technically available in Portal, so they would have to make it some sort of restricted Portal experience for free-to-play players with only select maps, guns and vehicles. Similar to playing past Battlefield games when you didn't own the DLCs, I suppose. Players creating servers would then have the opportunity to create a free-to-play Portal server, and if the map rotation went onto a map that was unavailable to free players, they would simply be kicked out of the server, therefore enticing them to purchase the full game. Furthermore, we've seen with the likes of Battlefield 4, a 10-year-old game, how important server browsers are for keeping those games alive. Same goes for BF1 and BF5. Hell, you can even play Battlefield 1942 still. Once the next Battlefield game releases, nobody is going to be using Battlefield 2042's matchmaking service, so that will only leave the Portal mode to keep the game alive. And yes, I know a lot of you are going to leave comments saying, who cares, let it die, Ghost, but you see my point, right? When DICE released Battlefield 5's Firestorm mode, they really missed a trick there, not making it free to play. When Battle Royale games were all the rage and their competitors all had free-to-play offerings, DICE decided to lock Firestorm behind the full price of the game, and as a consequence, it died. Same thing happened with Hazard Zone, and I really think that it's time that DICE look at making some sort of a free-to-play component for the next game, so that new players out there can really get a feeling for what Battlefield is all about, and that when Battlefield is good, my god, is it good. Now, if you guys want to see improvements to the squad and platoon system in Battlefield 2042, go and check out this video. There we discuss how DICE could iterate the squad system to make it line up with the new class system. Thank you guys for watching today, take care, and I'll see you next time.